Hey, we're live. Do I always need to say that at the beginning? Hey, we're live. Guess I don't need these headphones either. All right. So I decided to do this live stream because I've been wanting to make a video of some work I've been doing for a while and figured why not just go live and do the live demo. It's related to our work on proof mode, which is everything we do with smart camera, verifiable media, photos and videos for collection of video and photos as evidence. And the idea there is that, using digital signatures and extra metadata and third-party notarization, you can build up this chain of proof that can really help someone trust what they see. Sorry about that beeping. Hopefully it's going away. So we have been working on this for a decade, but more recently with both the standardization efforts around content provenance and authentication, otherwise known as C2PA, and the rise in generative AI being so powerful and cheap and readily available, this has become more urgent and more important for sure to create this work both for activists and journalists, but also everyday people. And yeah, I should get down to business. But so one of the things we do is we help people just investigate photos. And so today I'm going to first show our ProofCheck tool, and then I'm going to show how that tool interacts with the metadata in the photos and what you can do with it using the large language multimodal visual models of GPT-4o, Omni, and Gemini Pro. So it's this combination that I think is going to be quite interesting, where you're both providing tools to add more provenance and authentication to photos, but also easier assistance to help people detect where a photo might be, or to understand and verify it, and to do research and investigation. Obviously, disclaimers about hallucinations, etc. But this is something where we are working on with a number of researchers as well to understand how human rights organizations and journalists might start using these tools as assistive research tools and have that level of trust. And I'll show that today. So ProofCheck, if you go to proofmode.org, you can find it. And so this is a tool where you can load up photos and videos and proof mode zip files and basically anything, and we'll take it and try to tell you about it. So one of the projects we've been working on is with the California Coastal Commission King Tides program, where they crowdsource photos of king tide events to document. And they're just people taking pictures and uploading them. And so I have a ton of those photos, and I'm going to drop a bunch in here. So this is dragging and dropping photos called Contra Costa, which is a county, and a bunch of different places. So I'll click verify. These aren't uploaded to a server. These are all just running in your browser doing analysis. And I'm going to showcase more of this now. So each photo is loaded here. And most of them don't have any metadata. They don't have any content provenance or anything. They've been stripped of that. But some do. And you can see if there's EXIF metadata. There's a timestamp at least here from 2020. That's interesting. I can scroll down more here and see, ooh, there's actually Apple is the maker note and information, iPhone SE. Okay, maybe there's latitude and longitude. Let's see. Nope. No latitude and longitude. But at least it looks like it came from an actual iPhone without being edited. The ones without metadata probably were resized or edited or got stripped at some point. This one came from, maybe the same iPhone. Could be the same day. So that's what happens with ProofCheck if you just load in normal photos. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you load in a photo, a proof mode set. So here's one proof pack, which is basically a zip file. This is a set of photos taken recently by actually my brother. He was in Spain walking the Camino de Santiago, which is the walk of St. James that many pilgrims and just people do, can be religious or not. And so he sent these, he used the Proof Mode app to capture these, and you'll see there's a ton of metadata. So first, I can see all this extra Proof Mode data that we capture about the language and the size and the hash of the photo. I can see that there's a PGP signature, and I can verify that key later on. I can see that there is C2PA metadata, which is the new standard related to content provenance and authentication. If you go to contentauthenticity.org, you can see that. And then there's the EXIF data, which we don't strip, and it maintains everything in kind of pristine condition. So that's exciting. There wasn't location data because I think in this one he had turned it off. I'm actually going to do another proof pack. I'll grab this one here. And now you'll see, oh, there we go. We got some location data. It was actually timestamped on the blockchain using open timestamps. It did a bunch of other exciting things to just say this was taken at this time and place, signed by this user, et cetera, et cetera. And I can actually take a whole bunch. I can grab a big batch of them and drag them all in, and boom. Okay, so that's the proof check part. So then I started thinking, going back to our first example, well, if you don't have metadata, where might a image analysis tool? But yeah, you can see all this great data we have. You can see multiple points over different days and the path that he actually walked, which is exciting. And you can see like there are some cases where there's some missing metadata, but overall this looks real and legitimate. So going back to the other one then. So I said, well, what could these models, GPT-4 originally, Gemini Pro, that could really understand images, what could they do if we don't have metadata? And then what could they do if we give them photos with the metadata and signatures and data that are extracted by proof mode? How could we sort of add that extra level of trust and authentication? So first I'm going to start with GPT-4o, which I have access to, and I'll just drag in those same Contra Costa photos. I dragged in a bunch, which is super cool, and I can say, describe this set of photos for me. And yeah, so it's uploaded now. This does upload to their model of their servers. One thing we are looking at is we do run Lava and other local image capable models. So that is another video I'll do. But first of all, pretty amazing right off the bat. So it actually looks at the names of the files and describes them with a name that it extracts from just the file name. And so I can say, can you do that again, but include the file name, the original file name, with the descriptive text. So this is like pretty, there we go. That's a little bit nicer. So you can get this descriptive text and name, and that's already helpful sometimes in some analysis. And then I could say, can you tell the time of capture or creation of each image file? And I can go back and say, all right, let's look back at this PT San Pablo. So I'm actually going to go back to ProofCheck while it's doing that. Load these back in, and I can see the PT San Pablo one here it's pretty flooded here, and that's the one where we also have some of this metadata. So that could be good. All right. So yeah, so there's it does grab data from EXIF, it appears. I can match that to the PT. I could say for Number 7, it said, here is some exif data. Does it seem to match? So I can see that it matches what it extracted, 1252.08. So it extracted exif. That's pretty great. Great. So that data was aligned perfectly, and say, okay. Then I could say, so one of the interesting things I mentioned is that this is a king tides event project where they're monitoring king tides. And I could say, does that date and time match a flooding or king tide event in the Point San Pablo area? So it actually will go out to the web and search data, and it's actually pulled data from the California King Tides Commission site in the past. There we go, California Coastal Commission. Appeared of king tides, mid-November. Yeah, and so it does provide these links, which is great, and I could go and verify that, which you'd want to do, of course. And then it shows waves, and it goes more specific just to Point San Pablo, where I could go in and see the specific information there and go back to that time. So that's pretty great. It's a good resource that's helping me find some other things. So now I can go back and say, all right, let's look at some of the other ones. Let's see where there might have been some damage. And I can ask it, do any of the photos include potential damage to structures or property? So you can start getting into this other kind of analysis, especially bulk analysis can be quite interesting. Say you had thousands of photos and you had a customized UI that could handle that. It's pulling out areas where there's flooding specifically. And so this Martinez Marina, flooding around vehicles can cause damage to the cars, undercarriage, electrical systems. And I could say, for the Martinez Marina, can you estimate the cost of the damage pictured? So this could be quite interesting. So I'm getting into a lot of deeper context and stuff that obviously in our just standard provenance authentication tool, I wouldn't be able to find. And you could do some interesting analysis. Again, it shows about each area and gives you some numbers there. So that is pretty interesting. And I could ask, can you produce a JSON file output of all of the information you have come up with in our chat? And this is where you get in the use of it as an API. So our thought is, with ProofCheck, we could provide an integration option where you could get this extra data, do this analysis, and kind of add that to this verification bundle. So you have some interesting extra context with it. We'll see how long that takes. So going back over to ProofCheck then, again, it's when photos don't have metadata, this can help you say, yep, this looks like the time and place. It's in the region. It's in, California. It's along the coast. Sorry about these blowers. And it is during a king tide event. And we could also say, we can ask questions about manipulation. Let's see if that does it. So this is nice. Here's the data that it's generated. It added some creation date info when it had it. It added some description info, some damage estimates. So I could actually pull this out and gave me all of that data. So that's really nice. I could ask it, can you determine what kind of device captured each photo based on the pixels, aspect ratio, EXIF metadata, or other information. I really hope there's this noise cancellation. Leaf blowers, man. Okay, here we go. So no device debate. Okay, so it's actually pulling out EXIF data, which is fantastic, and giving you a JSON output photo. So it did find some EXIF data around that one, as we saw, which is great. And yeah, so again, you can do this bulk work, doing EXIF analysis, creating data, and giving you other contextual information as an output. So that is all really useful. And let's see, what other tricks have I found in the past? Well, you could write a narrative. So you could say, write a 2-paragraph narrative describing the photos, the king tide event, and the impact on the local economy. It's still working away. I'm going to stop it there. So say you wanted to do some analysis, you could ask it to do that and produce kind of a meaningful summary. So this is pretty impressive. Again, the problem that this is addressing is that in the past, I've heard, sorry, I may have to redo this. In the past, I've heard there's been issues where you have thousands, tens of thousands of images coming in from incidents, be it, we've done work in humanitarian relief, in human rights and protests. And this can really help you get to a place where you have some meaningful analysis of things where there isn't metadata. And you can also back up your provenance and authenticating metadata with other things. So one more example that could be interesting on this front that I now remember is, based on the lighting in each photo, can you tell me what time of day you think they were taken and how that compares to the date of the file itself, the date and time? See, if I was recording, I would stop this, but since it's a live stream, I can't stop. All right, I'm going to mute. So something that, each time you interact with a model like this, there's probability, so things can be different, but it can actually do the lighting assessment, the time of day based on, sunset or sunrise, and shadows. So I can ask it, like, does that analysis include looking at the shadows in the photos? So there's ways. I haven't figured out all the prompts, but you can, here we go. So, and again, these give you some ideas and tips and things to look at that you can't just trust, but you can go back and say, like, okay, let's look at the Ferry Martinez photo. I'll look at it over here while this is happening. I'll put it in here, maybe. There we go. So there's shadows, and they are, if you look, the shadow here is a long shadow. You can kind of see these reflections in the long shadow. And so that's a case where it said shadows are medium length, late morning, early afternoon, versus the Phillips refinery photo, which is Phillips 66. It, kind of hard to see shadows, but you're not seeing long shadows on there. So this gives you some clues to look at, which is pretty interesting, and when it matches EXIF versus when it doesn't. So yeah, that's hopefully interesting there. And what else? I had a few other tricks. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start a new chat. We are going to go back to ProofCheck, and I'm going to pull in one of the one of the sets of photos here from the Camino de Santiago. Here we go. This one looks really good. All right, so I'm going to then so with ProofCheck, we have a whole zip file of all this extra metadata and signatures. I'm going to start by just dragging in the photos themselves here, as I did before, and see it's kind of this usual prompt, and kind of the default prompt is important. You can, there's other prompt engineering tricks that I'm not going to go into related to like step-by-step, asking to go slowly. And so it's going through and doing kind of that basic analysis. Again, pretty interesting. What I want to do is try to see if it can figure out that these were taken on the Camino. So that will be interesting. So I'll see, can you do analysis of any EXIF metadata included in the photos? Now, at some point, C2PA metadata will, which is in all of these photos, it will learn how to do that. And we may actually write some extra skills for, we have an API to do that. It knows EXIF maybe, but it probably doesn't know C2PA yet, which eventually would be great because then it can match signatures and certificates across the tools. This is interesting. So it's saying that these do not include EXIF, which is not true. So this is an interesting moment of that problem there of probability. So I'm going to go back then and go into ProofCheck. And we have this cool railway one, which definitely has EXIF data. A lot of information here. It even has GPS latitude and longitude. So I'm going to paste this in. And I'll say, this is 6087. So for image 6087.jpg, here is the EXIF data. Why do people need more than one leaf blower? Oh, I know. Oh my God, it's blowing it out into the street. It's an army of leaf blowers. Next time I better check the leaf blower schedule. Okay, so it parsed everything I pasted in, which is great. A lot of interesting information here. So I can see it in a more readable format. And it was taken on iPhone 11, good lighting, GPS coordinates, lens use, aperture. So this is great. Now I'm going to put in the C2PA data. And say, and here is the content, provenance, and authentication metadata for the same image 60887.jpg. So now it knows the certificate, some of the other actions. So we could probably ask it about that as it learns more about that and the different formats that were created in the C2PA data. It also has identifiers around the person, which is related to PGP key signature. There we go, open PGP key, proof mode user. We also, it picked out that we have restrictions about AI use in this photo, which is interesting. It's a separate discussion. So that's all very helpful. And then so now I'm going to ask it again to say, all right, tell me more than, so based on the descriptive analysis of, along with the EXIF and C2PA data, what can you tell me about the image as a whole? See if it adds to its kind of description there. No, it's just going to give me this analysis. Well, I was hoping for more of a narrative format, but it's just spitting that back. So I'm still learning some of these tricks. There is a summary. Screen forest, the camera settings, shutter speed, good lighting, GPS coordinates, northern Spain, proof mode, image generation, add to its credibility. The image is well documented. Authentic capture of a tranquil forest scene with clear. Say, does it seem? Is there any indication that this photo was edited or manipulated? Yeah, so it even understands what proof mode is, provides some context there, at least provides me that text and description. And as a researcher, as an investigator, I would say, okay, I should go look into proof mode. I should use these extra tools and steps, but it's giving me analysis, which I can then, verify and ask for references and say, can you provide any claims or citations related to what you have stated above? Let's see if it provides links or anything there. I'm not sure. So this helps me get like a nice analysis of something. I can say, why do I trust this information? What are the pieces? So again, this helps just speed up my work doing analysis and can be a nice way that we pull this together. So, so that's great. And you have all the links there. The last piece I wanted to do was then to pull in the proof mode data, the PGP data. Oh, proof mode data. Here we go. Yeah, I already pulled that in. I'll just add the proof mode data, which is kind of this, all of this is proof mode data, but this is extra data. Here is some more proof mode specific metadata for, there we go. And then I can grab the PGP key data here. Now we know that it can't do PGP operations yet, but one of the things we'd like to do is be able to provide the signatures and other data. So I could say, and here is the PGP specific data for image. Does the key open PGP key ID match the other metadata related to it? We'll see if it does. It provides that analysis, but it doesn't really have PGP specific skills, but that's interesting. So in this case, the C2PA, this is actually a good find because the C2PA key is actually different, a different key identifier because it's a different signing key. But in the C2PA data, there is, if we go back and look, there is proof mode user ID is here. and C2PA identifier is here, and oh yeah, what is this 7C? Oh, maybe it had a let's look here. 7CECCCB. Yeah, interesting. So that's something. There's some flag there. I think it's two different key identifiers. So it could be also that the key got regenerated. So that's something to dig into. So lastly, in the based on the proof mode metadata, and I can see that this hash is here. This is the hash F6AD. I could say the SHA 256 hash of image 7. So I don't necessarily imagine everyone doing this for every photo, but this is kind of the steps behind it, where you could have this assistant do this sort of mass analysis. We'd also, I don't think it can actually compute hashes. I can ask it. Let's see, can you independently compute? Oh, it's trying to compute the hash right now. I was just about to ask it and it's already doing it. So let's see. Let's see if it actually does it. Oh, I think it failed. Oh, interesting. Wait a second. It might have compressed the image. So this is really interesting. Because we check the hash over here and it matches. Image 6087. All right, I'm going to check it really quick in a shell command over here. Let's see. So this isn't going to be very fun, but so this is the extra steps, and I think this is one of those areas of exploration is, are things recompressed and stored, and so then that actually doesn't become a very good, you can't do certain types of analysis clearly when you're, this is 12, 20, 38, 12, 20, 38. Okay, and okay, show some tool. I will do that. How do we do the show some? Okay. All right, here we go. Show some image 687 dot. Hold on. Okay, there we go. All right, so if I run this on the file on my disk, I get this using the SHA-SUM command. So I think what's happened is when I upload it here, they're recompressing it in the upload and the hash is changing. So this is very interesting. I can just say, I have just checked the file locally on disk using the SHA-SUM command, and the output is it possible that the image was recompressed on upload to this service? Oh, that's interesting. So I'm going to try to compress it now. Here we go. Let's see. I'm uploading a zip file. Here is the image compressed in a zip file. Can you unzip it and check the hash? Now, this is something I've done before. So you can just give it zip files and it'll figure out where things are. And I'll drop in the whole proof file and see. So there's definitely something wrong with their hash function. Wow, that's interesting. I for sure just checked it. Wow, that is just so interesting. Okay, well, we'll move on from that for now, but let's flag GPT-4o hash functions. Calculate the hash. I don't know, looks good to me. And here's, literally, here's the output from my shell command here. It doesn't like that. Oh, there we go. This is really interesting. Well, maybe I found a bug. Okay, this is why we do this stuff. I'm doing it live on air. It's crazy. All right, so then I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to give it the entire proof mode. Which one are we in? 2038. There we go. So I'm going to upload this entire proof mode zip. Here's the entire proof mode proof pack, we call them, zip file that contains this image, contains the photo image 6087.jpg and others. I'll just say that, see what happens. So it should try to actually unzip it and do some analysis of all of it. So this is ideal for us. If you can drop in a proof mode zip, it doesn't, compress on upload. It can pull out all the data, all the signatures, and this is essentially taking our ProofCheck tool, which is what ProofCheck does in using a local, decentralized app running in your browser with Rust code and a bunch of other code. Can we still have that in a kind of a chat interface? And you see it's automatically looking at all the data. You just drop it in. It's looking at the proof JSON. It's looking through the CSV data. It's pulling out EXIF. So it's actually a pretty nice, again, process for someone to use a proof folder and just drop it in. And it's now checking all the signatures. What can you tell me about the contents of this proof zip as a whole? We'll see what it says as a whole. If it does some analysis, it's looking at all the photos, it's looking at all the signatures. So it can't do everything, and we don't want everything to be chat. But again, giving you that kind of semantic layer around a proof pack, you can drop it in where it can tell you what it sees, and maybe you can ask it narratively about location and what it thinks. It's pulling out different metadata and information about the device. You could probably say, do these all come from the same device? Do these all have the same key? Do they all have the same, other information like that? I'll ask this kind of big question here of, can you tell me where in the world is Carmen? No, where in the world and at what day and time range were these photos taken? This is kind of a big one. It's just like, where were they taken, and were they all at the same time and place? And again, like that kind of narrative stuff. And this has the metadata. So not all of them have GPS for whatever reason. I think some were added in there. And what's good to point that out, they have the timestamps, they were taken from the same time as each other. So it really gives you, again, if you have a bulk set of stuff, I could say, does it seem these were all taken on the same device? And you could add, more detailed pixel analysis skills and stuff like that. But again, with the proof mode data, we do get that extra information. It's now looking at the EXIF data for each file, which is great. Again, GPT-4 couldn't do EXIF, and now GPT-4o does. So that's one other skill that I've noticed. So yeah, it's matching the data and looking at that consistency. Quick succession, right? So looking at the timestamps, northern Spain. And I could ask, like, in the region of northern Spain, where these were taken, and considering the subjects of the photos, why would this person be there? And what might they be doing? This is interesting. I mean, to see if it's tourism and sightseeing, photography. It's talking about the landscape, the outdoors, a railway enthusiast, the national parks, the cultural sites, the peaceful scene. But it doesn't get the Camino de Santiago. I could say, could they be a religious pilgrim? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, I gave it a little clue. It's home to the most famous pilgrimage site, the Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James. So this is pretty interesting. You give it a little clue from what you know, and then boom, it opens up all of this other information. It's plausible they could be a pilgrim, the tranquil scenes, the idea of reflective and spiritual journey. So you're getting this narrative, you're getting this data analysis. It's pretty impressive how, like, we can code. I mean, we've been building these tools that are very specific and do very specific things, and they're very important. And these have cryptographic, assurance, and they, don't screw up the hashes. Very important. You can download all of this data into a KML file, the public key. You can get a report. You can save this to permanent storage. There's a lot of stuff you can use ProofCheck for. You can get this overall just report JSON that then you load into some other tool, which is really useful. But it's nice to have this kind of research buddy, I guess, over here we would call it. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. They're going to keep going. Guys walking down the street, doing the hard work. I appreciate what they're doing. All right, so that was GPT-4o. Obviously, this model has a lot of claims around it. Definitely gotten a little better from 4 in terms of image metadata. So 2 seems to screw up hashes. Who knows? We'll have to figure that out. All right, so now Gemini 1.5 Pro. Let's see how it does. So Gemini 1.5 Pro, I'm going to go back now to the other King Tide photos and see how it does. So we're going to go back to what we did before. I've got a chat session, obviously not quite as friendly, but a lot of power here. And one thing you can do is this safety settings. And this was interesting because in the past, I was used this to analyze flood events, and it saw that as danger. So in fact, I'm going to turn off the danger safety setting in order to allow it to tell me about dangerous things. Hate and explicit, I don't want any of that. I could probably say block all, but I'll just say some. But dangerous content, I don't mind because I'm looking at a flood event, right? It's important. Temperature, you can also go, this is meant to really reduce hallucination. So this is something we can play with, which is interesting. All right, so I'm going to add these same photos in. Oops, that didn't do it. Well, there's one thing. You can't drag and drop. Oh boy, upload. Sample images. No, not sample images. Apparently I'm already having problems. Oh, upload. Now I drag. There we go. So it's actually uploading into my Google Drive, first of all, which is interesting, versus just some random ChatGPT storage. So there they are. And I could say summarize these photos into a list with descriptions and make sure to include the file names. I guess that's not fair. Let me go back. I'm going to go back to, what did I say way up here? I said, what can you tell me about these photos? Actually, I had this. Describe this set of photos for me. Yeah, I shouldn't give it any advantage. Okay, there we go. So model's running, seconds are counting. So it only did one photo. And here's something interesting. It pulled out the Richmond. This is something I've noticed on Gemini, is that it's much better at pulling out language from the from these. What if I edit this? What is editing? Okay. Let's see. I uploaded 8 photos. Oops. I uploaded 8 photos. Can you tell me about all of them? But really, it pulled out this yellow bus. Oh, well, that's no good. Okay, well, let's see. I'll upload Drive and I'll choose recent images. Okay, this is the one I'm interested in. Again, we'll do that. Okay. So then what did I say? I said, so it can't do bulk in the same way. That's interesting. This is just the current UI. Yeah, that's a challenge there. And I don't think I can upload a proof zip here. So that's interesting. Stunning photo. Interesting narrative. And, you know, I'm not really doing prompt engineering where you say, yeah, you are a photo investigation tool doing open source forensic research, right? You could provide all of these other contexts. You could say, you know, step by step, be careful. And I think developing these kind of prompts, I'm sure people are looking at it, is something that should happen. I won't comment on that here. Now, I can ask it. You know, we know that these don't have any, like I said, based on the file name or time and date, can you tell me where this photo may have been taken or when? I hate I can't hit enter. I have to click. Huh, okay. So this one was called Martinez. Sorry. I could tell it the file name. The file name is Contra Costa PT San Pablo 1.jpg. So that's useful. It can kind of do that same extrapolation, but I had to tell it that manually, which is a little annoying. All right, so now I'm going to get the exit data again, and we'll see what it can tell about that. Here is some exit data from the photo. We know for sure. Well, we don't know for sure, but were there any flooding, high tide, king tide or extreme weather events around that time in that area? I'm not doing this scientifically. I should have the exact same questions, but yeah. Well, it doesn't have access to the real-time data. It can't go out to the internet, apparently, in this Gemini 1.5 Pro. There was a case where I had something, it claimed, based on Google Street Map data or something, that it was able to tell where a hotel was. That we had a photo from a hurricane. And I don't know. I don't know if I believe that or not. But let's see. Can you use Google Maps, Google Earth, or Google Street Maps images to confirm that this marina is near Point San Pablo? But yeah, so Gemini seems a little bit neutered right now in terms of its ability to go. Yeah, so it doesn't seem it can access that data. I really thought, and maybe there's some other information out there before it was able to do that sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so already not as useful. I've had some other really interesting analysis from this work. You know, I can go back to this Richmond photo. Let's see about that. I'll ask it some of that same analysis based on the potential flooding. So where's the car park? Here we go. This is the car one. Let's ask if it can compute the hash. Can you compute the SHA-256 hash of this photo? See if it knows what this photo means. Oh, they've stopped. Sorry, dear listener, your ears are much better now. Wow, it cannot compute hash. Yeah, I think this is just that, you know, the way that this tool is made available right now just has some limitations. But yeah, it's really interesting. You know, you can obviously incorporate this in API, but the sort of out of the box ease of use right now through this studio tool is quite different, unfortunately. Okay, so then let me try one more photo. Okay, so this is extracting metadata from this photo. We'll see if it can do it. Again, I don't think it can. Nope. Okay, so I can't extract metadata. It's interesting. I feel like I had more success with this previously, and that maybe something has changed, which is also really the norm with this stuff, where you kind of things change, you know, capabilities change. And it's hard to know what's what. This is why, going back to an earlier point, is I'm really interested in doing local work with Lava and some other offline models that can do image. Okay, so now we're going to, really quick, I'm going to create a new prompt. I'm going to use a chat prompt. I don't care about that one. Now I'm going to see if I can upload a proof zip. I really don't think I can. Let's see. Let's see what happens. It's probably not going to unzip the file. You already know I can't do batch files with other data. Oh, okay. Well, look at that. It unzipped the file. Didn't get all of the data. Didn't get all the signatures. But it got something about proof mode. That's fantastic. So, okay. That's something. Nice work. It only got... Yeah, 6109. Okay. Can you analyze? Can you describe this contents of the image of the file image? See if it can work with the stuff in the zip file now. Oh, sexually explicit. Wow. Okay. All right, I'm turning everything down. Oh boy. Okay. Wow. Why would that be? There's nothing sexually explicit in there. View of a harbor in a coastal town. Here's a description. The foreground, paved walkway. Jet skis are arranged in... Oh, here, I'm going to pull this up for you too so you can see. Wow, jet skis, sea-doo, all of this, foreground, background. Okay, let's go back and read this then. Several bright turquoise jet skis docked on a floating platform, arranged in a row. Sea-Doo brand. The numbers Sea-Doo and Spark. Background. Behind the pier, clear view, calm and reflective. The sky is clear. So this is the image analysis. I mean, you could probably get to this with GPT-4, but boy, that is really impressive. I can ask it, can you extract any of the identifiers on the Sea-Doo jet skis? So it's pulling numbers 105081, 105. No, I don't see that, but maybe. I've had other cases where it pulled out names of businesses and things automatically for me, so that could be useful. Yeah, so it's not able to get those. I'll ask, like, any idea where in the world this photo may have been taken? So one time, based on palm trees and buildings, it accurately picked Mexico, which was fascinating. So it got the latitude and longitude out of the proof zip. Awesome. Yeah, let's see. Harbor town near Gijón in Asturias, Spain. Yeah, so this is actually pretty great. Uploading the full proof zip is kind of working, which I'm very, excited about. Tell me more about the provenance and authentication of these photos and metadata. Is there any data about the device that captured them or the identifier of the creator? Okay, the digital signatures are in there. It's just ignoring them. Yeah, and if it could do kind of key calculations, right, and do hashes and do proof mode and signature verification, it'd be amazing. And that would really make this process easier. That's what ProofCheck's for, though. So again, if we can integrate the two, this could be, quite useful. All right, so yeah, you're seeing what it can do here. Now, something unique that I'm going to do, the last thing, and then I'm going to wrap this up, is video. So I'm going to upload a video. Upload a video. This is a video from the Camino, and we'll see what it can do. Say, what can you tell me about this video and how it might relate to the photos previously shared? The other photos. The language is really funny to think about. You can actually see the tokens it takes up too. But so Google's supposed to be able to really do videos. So it's actually analyzing the video. Wow, look at this. It's video starts with the speaker stating it's 7:30 in the morning, which is actually true. Here's my brother. It says it's 7:30 in the morning. You can see him panning. He's showing the scene, right? So let's go back to Google. Pans across the road, snow-capped, suggested Asturias, Spain, right? Beautiful morning, natural landscape, the surf, coastline, grassy hills, beautiful coast setting in Asturias. So the video kind of backs up the other photos, combines with them, does this analysis. It does text to speech or speech to text, combines that information. This is really great. In my experience with ChatGPT, it could not do that. So if we go back to the scene here, and I try to upload that same video, which I can, I'll say, how does this, what did I say? I'll use the same message. Tell me about this video and what. So it's doing analysis, and Proof Mode can do video as well. And we have some, not in this set. And so it could be helpful then giving it that extra metadata. We'll see what the analysis does. As far as I can tell, well, it's looking at the format, which is interesting. So it is pulling out data related to it being the codec, which you can actually see it came from an iPhone, which is great. It came from a format. The time and date is related. Let's see. Yes, can you? So it actually did a lot more with the format, which is great, and helps me know that this matches the phone and the device from the photos. So that's kind of cool. Also analyze the content of the video. Now, this is where it failed. In the last time, it really did a bad job of actually, it pulled out some frames, but, it's going to pull out 3 frames and tell me at what time. And then we'll see. The analysis last time was way off. Again, probability. Some days these GPTs are drunk, and it's still hard to know. So all of this work needs to be backed up and checked, but this can give you that start. Yeah. Boy, let's see what happens here. I'm really interested. It's just going to town. Visualizing and describing the contents of each frame. Didn't seem to be able to describe it above. And now it's using generative AI to produce. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is terrible. Off the rails. Oh, well, let's end it here. You just lost me, GPT-4o. Oh boy. it's making new fake photos based on our proof mode photos of a railway. That's hilarious. Somewhere in here, I have the original. It's not that. That is made. But look what's cool. This is signed with content credentials. So I'm actually going to download this. We're going to have a little inception moment. I'm downloading this Dolly photo. Then I'm going to open ProofCheck, verify another photo, and boom, C2PA data, because no worries, we support C2PA ProofCheck. So you know that it's AI. Signature issued by OpenAI. That's where we should end this. I don't know why it decided to do that. But so yeah, please check everything out, proofmode.org. This is really an area of work where we are creating. Oh, we have our Proof of Earth contest, by the way. So if you can use Proof Mode and go and take real photos, real places, just like you saw with the Camino de Santiago, and submit them to us, you might win to be a contributor. We have some other ways of rewarding you. These are all photos here, and you can see our baseline site where we publish public repositories of verified actual reality, and more coming, and get our app and tools and see our verification process as well through the ProofCheck web tool. So happy Friday. Let's keep it real, people. Keep it real. Thanks so much. Bye.